这一站，我们来到了位于瑞士的罗氏诊断，探寻特许药械与真实世界数据双政策加持下，罗氏深耕中国市场25载的答案。
What major trends do you think are currently shaping the global healthcare industry?
One is the increasing disease burden. The other trend is access to healthcare. And there's another trend, which is the decentralization of care. And also in China, obviously, outpatient setting and monitoring of chronic diseases, as an example, is one of those areas where we can actually decentralize care. We always say in China, for China. We also want to establish the entire value chain in the country of China, so from the R&D, manufacturing and also the commercial reach, so that actually the innovation reaches the patient in China.
当全球顶尖体外诊断技术以乐城速度跨越山海，当全球领先的创新药械在海南点亮生命曙光，罗氏诊断为何将目光聚焦中国南海之滨的这片热土，将医疗创新成果率先引入中国的这个希望之城。
The Ventana Flori-1 assay and the drug Lecheng have been approved at the same time in China. So what does this success mean? I mean, you just make the process of the two products were approved 50 months ahead. Yeah, you made some new records.
We have actually several products which we introduced that way already. So we have the ovarian cancer assay, which is called Ventana FOLR1. We also had an Alzheimer early detection assay as well approved, and most recently also our innovative mass spec platform. We are using real-world evidence studies, and that's how we achieve the acceleration, and it's a landmark for China and for Roche. When we meet then a very progressive regulatory framework, such as the one from Hainan, where if you can demonstrate significant clinical benefits, things can happen fast, I think that's a win-win for both sides, and we will always consider our products entering that pathway first through Hainan if we can meet the criteria of the pathway.
这里就是罗氏诊断在瑞士的总部。其实罗氏诊断早在2000年就进入了中国市场，可以说在中国市场有着长达25年深耕的基础。那为什么在2021年又选择跟海南博奥乐城来合作？乐城又将为罗氏诊断在中国和全球的业务带来哪些新的助力呢？今天我们就来到了罗氏诊断在瑞士的总部，一探究竟。Let's start with the two products. The Ventana Flori-1 assay and the drug Lecheng have been approved at the same time in China. So what does this success mean, and how will it affect Roche's strategic in China?
Yeah, and we are really grateful that we had this opportunity to bring this product early to the market. What I know is that, we have worked together for many years. We had a lot of visits from both sides. Also visits from our colleagues from Beijing, from Suzhou to Hainan. And last year we had really the pleasure to meet some of your government officials here in Rotkreuz. Our CEO Matt Source received them, and I was part of the reception, and they really introduced to us the province, the advantages of the free trade port, the advantages of Bao Hope City. And we have a very strong partnership with some of the hospitals, and as well a strong relationship with the health authorities, which makes sure that we can bring those products in a faster way together to the market. We use the Hainan accelerated regulatory pathway, and the product is the Ventana FOLR1 assay, which is a companion diagnostic for ovarian cancer. So it enables targeted treatment for people with that disease. It is a landmark achievement as we were able to bring the first IVD of the whole industry to China in an expedited way. We achieved approval in more than 15 months early, and so it's a huge success for companion diagnostics, for patients in China, and also for us as Roche and the whole IVD industry.
So how did it happen? You just make the process of the two products were approved 50 months ahead. Yeah, you made some new records.
It is a new record, I agree. We have actually several products which we introduced that way already. So we have the ovarian cancer assay, which is called Ventana FOLR1. We also had an Alzheimer early detection assay as well approved, and most recently also our innovative mass spec platform. So 3 examples where we were able to expedite the process significantly. So we are partnering with local medical institutions, we are using real-world evidence studies, and that's how we achieve the acceleration, and it's a landmark for China and for Roche. there's a huge opportunity for us in China and also most recently through all of the policy changes. So we're very excited about any opportunity to bring our high quality products to China. And in Roche Diagnostics, quality is kind of the front and center what we do. This is our brand. Our products are high quality and we always make sure that patients and customers can really trust in them. So we have quality and we have a lot of innovation coming together, and so we are very well positioned to bring even more to China over the next years.
So what is Roche's strategic plan for development in Hainan? How do you value the opportunities for healthcare industry along with the construction of Hainan Freight Trade Port?
So what Roche can do really well is two things. We can advance clinical research in partnerships with your medical institutions, and the other thing is to improve the diagnostic capabilities of the province. And I think that's where we see our opportunity and our strength, and that's where we want to do more. So we have a track record of 3 products already entering the province in an accelerated way. And what we plan to do is to bring 10 more products over the next 2 to 3 years into the province, which will advance clinical research and also the diagnostics capabilities. The products will cover several areas. So we are talking again about oncology products, but also neurology products, and as well as cardiovascular and metabolic disease. So that's kind of our strategy for the province.
So what factors were considered when Roche selected the products to be introduced to the Hope City in Hainan, and is there any new plans on the way?
Yeah, so for us, the time between an invention happening and it being accessible to patients, that's something we are always focusing on. So if there's an opportunity to accelerate, we always want to do this as Roche. We have so much innovation and patients are waiting. So when we meet then a very progressive regulatory framework, such as the one from Hainan, where if we can demonstrate significant clinical benefits, things can happen fast, I think that's a win-win for both sides. And we will always consider our products entering that pathway first through Hainan, if we can meet the criteria of the pathway. So there's a lot more to come. Around 10 more products are planned to be brought to the province, to China, over the next years, and we will see significant benefits for patients with cancer, with neurological disease and other general diseases as well over the next years.
So in collaborating with Ball Hope City, what innovative partnerships models has Roche explored?
Yeah, so we are very excited about our partnership with the Lecheng Hainan Hospital. So the first 3 accelerated products we have developed together with them. One of the mechanisms we use is the real-world evidence studies, so where we're collecting data in the real world. And so we have several more real-world evidence studies running right now for additional products which we are planning to launch. And we have a lot more products to come to the province. We are also open for new partnerships. If it works for our strategy, we can create further win-wins with additional medical institutions or research centers in the province.
Regarding the industry development and market demands, what are Roche's plans for the future development in Hainan, and what are your expectations for the future of Hainan's pharmaceutical industry?
Yeah. We really appreciate the Hainan strategy and also the strategy of the national government to make this province a shining example of healthcare. So what we can offer there is really the clinical research advancements and also the improvement of the diagnostic capabilities. So that's where we want to invest, and that's where we want to bring a lot more products to Hainan first, and then ultimately to the whole of China through that pathway. So that's our strategy for the Hainan area.
在博尔乐城这片国家级医疗试验田，借助特许药械与真实数据应用这2大核心政策，罗氏诊断将覆盖肿瘤、神经等疾病的全球前沿诊断方案，以早于全国2至4年的乐城速度，率先注入中国医疗市场。
What major trends do you think are currently shaping the global healthcare industry? What strategic plans has Roche Diagnostics formulated to maintain its leading position?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of intense trends going on in the healthcare industry, which also shape the way how healthcare is provided to patients and to the society. And we at Roche feel we're well positioned to address those. And let me give you 3 examples. One is the increasing disease burden. The other trend is access to healthcare. And there's another trend, which is the decentralization of care. Let's start with the increased disease burden. As a matter of fact, in 10 years from now, 50% of the disease burden will come from 3 areas alone, which is cardiovascular metabolic, oncology, and neurology. And in that particular area, Roche wants to innovate the access of early detection. So the problem of these chronic diseases to some extent and this disease burden is that we need to have very early detection in order to treat patients very early. And we are inventing new technology that has easier access to the population, but also can be easier run on the routine testing analytics, an example in the area of Alzheimer. And the second one is the access to healthcare. Any innovation in diagnostic doesn't make any sense if it doesn't reach the patients. So what we're really aiming for is to provide access and working with local agencies and authorities to provide access to healthcare. Yet, still 50% of the world's population does not have access to healthcare. And Hainan province is a very good example how innovative pathways are seen in order to adopt innovation of healthcare faster, and with that also make it available for the population in China.
Yeah, that's very special policy just in Hainan, in Boao.
Exactly. And the third one is decentralization of care. The healthcare systems are under tremendous pressure to deliver healthcare to more people with less resources. And that means we want to bring healthcare to the patients.
How do you build your inherent and external advantages on developing products and services?
Yeah, Roche is very uniquely positioned in order to develop products and services because we have pharma and diagnostics under one roof. And that allows us to build integrated healthcare solutions. So from the early detection over disease monitoring through the treatment. And in our research and development departments, we understand disease mechanism in a better way, which we then can share with pharma for treatment options as an example. We also are very strong in building what we call a local reach, because we understood every healthcare system is so different, and even within China, the provinces are different. So being close to the markets is very, very critical. And with that, we also enable local collaboration, like we do with the Hainan province administration there, to build good solutions to accelerate access to healthcare. So these are the 3 areas where Roche really focuses on. It's the pharma and diagnostics under one roof, it's the local presence and building local collaborations with authorities and healthcare systems. We always say in China, for China. We also want to establish the entire value chain in the country of China. So from the R&D, manufacturing, and also the commercial reach, so that actually the innovation reaches the patient in China. Worldwide, we have about 400 collaborations across the globe in diagnostics alone, not including pharma. And I can give you an example on the China side. We actually work with the Department of Hepatology in the Zhongzhuan, I hope I spelled it right, in the province there, in order to establish an algorithm which is specifically designed to detect early stage liver cancer.
Yes, get close to the market. So would you share the company's plans for investing in research and development? What are some of the major technological innovations to be launched in the near future? And how will it drive the upgrading of the industry?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Roche is very much invested in R&D. So we invest the highest relative to sales investment we have in R&D specifically. And we have a 125-year track record of innovating the way how healthcare is provided. And so it's also in our R&D commitment. We really want to change the way how healthcare is provided. And we have 3 areas that I can explain. One is Alzheimer as an example. The other one is oncology, so cancer therapy. And the third one is also around chronic diseases like management of diabetes. So in example, in Alzheimer, if you look at the current best practice, how would it be if physicians and clinicians could identify the risk in a patient to develop Alzheimer before the symptoms absolutely occur? So what our teams are working on in an example is simple blood-based tests that allow you to understand whether the risk of a patient is there to develop Alzheimer, again, before symptoms come in, which allows you to treat the patient in a very early phase. In the oncology field, oncology and cancer is a very complex disease. So what we really want to do is make treatment personal, which also means you understand the characteristics of a tumor in a very specific way and match that against the characteristic of the patient, and with that allow better treatment options for the physicians. And then in the diabetes care management, it's a chronic disease. We want to move healthcare out of the walls of a hospital to the homes of people, and we just launched an analyzer, a sensor that a patient can wear, which monitors more or less in real time the glucose level, and an AI algorithm predicts how the glucose level will change, whether this has the risk to go out of range, which allows the patient to react even before a side effect or a severe effect is coming. And there are tons of examples in other areas of diseases where Roche is invested in R&D and really wants to help the population of people in China and around the world and better treatment options.
So, what innovative measures and successful cases can Roche share with us in promoting precision medicine and personalized diagnostics?
Yeah, precision medicine is in the DNA of Roche. As you know, we have pharma and diagnostics under one organization. And the times before, in the last years, we called it personalized healthcare, and we still have teams that are purely focusing on personalized healthcare. So the idea of personalized healthcare or precision medicine is to identify a very specific genetic setting of a patient, and with that allow very dedicated treatment options. So in example, we have a biomarker in pathology, which is FLOR1, which identifies a very unique patient profile, genetic profile, for ovarian cancer. And we work together with Chinese institutions and authorities to apply this algorithm in order to help them to identify patients that are qualified for a very specific treatment. This is what we call companion diagnostic. So in order to apply a treatment, there is a diagnostic test done before. That helps to avoid that patients are treated with a one-size-fits-all cancer therapy while there is targeted treatment available. And it's also better for the cost for society. And another good example is, I'm happy to share that in June, the Hainan province administration approved the launch of a highly automated mass spectrometry system, which is now used and available for the Chinese population there. The reason why this is critical is mass spectrometry is used as a lot of gold standard for diagnostic testing because it's very sensitive, it's very specific and very accurate. The problem is the technology as it's used today is very complex. Multiple steps, manual steps, multiple machines and analyzers. It's a very complex process that only experts can execute on a very low throughput. With this automated analyzer, we just put everything in one box. And today, then, it's just a simple sample that you put on the analyzer, and it's run in routine, and the result is transmitted after a few hours to the clinicians. And with that, you can provide better access to the population in China to really life-saving diagnostics.
从瑞士的战略决策到博鳌的生命前线，以乐城速度跨越山海之界，抵达生命急需之处。这场跨越欧洲与中国的合作，连接起全球医疗创新与中国患者需求的深度交响。